welcome you all to yet another session from International Association for Quality Education in Sri Lanka, collaborating with Dr. Kalam International Foundation, India. We are, as our first session, flagged off an extremely empowering session on STEAM. This session is a very natural progression for what is the future for the 21st century. The future for 21st century is based on research. So it is the research methodology which is being touted to be the most important thing, the extremely important key to learning all the 21st century skills. So as we go about empowering the South Asian community, South Asian educator community as a whole, not talking about research education, not talking about research methodology as a tool for quality education and teaching pedagogy, it would be very inadequate and incomplete when we combine it as a complete package for all of you for training, for upskilling, for 21st century skills. So here we are on a very empowering session again on research education. And we have a host of panelists and guest speakers who are pioneers in their fields, especially talking about how to incorporate what is research education. Is it something that is just meant for postgraduate students doing PhD and higher level college students, or can we really bring it down to the school level itself? So let's talk about all of that and more on this panel discussion on research methodology, which I'm very happy to tell you that Dr. Kalam International has specialized in. And we have trained several teachers, hundreds and hundreds of teachers and students in research methodology and incorporating it at the school level. So very happy to share all that knowledge with all of you. I am opening this session today on a very, very important panel discussion on research methodology as a tool for quality education. Let me introduce you to our esteemed guests. And first of all, I would again, once more, introduce you to Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, who is our mentor, who is our patron, DKIF, and who would again be present here today as a special guest and would enrich this session with her ideas and her dynamic insights that make every discussion a gem in its own sense. So thank you, Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, for being here, who is a senior mentor for CBSE as well as Navodaya schools, has facilitated hundreds of training, thousands of students have benefited from her. She is a mentor at Indian National Science Congress, also presided by our Prime Minister, Government of India. And she has several published papers to her credit. So she would be the guest speaker here today. The panel discussion, Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, if you could just come on screen for a little bit, just unmute so that everybody can see you.
Am I visible properly?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So here we have Dr. Rashmi Tyagi. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. It's my pleasure today to be here with two great education associations. One is from Sri Lanka and one is from India. So one is from, educationist of Sri Lanka and one from the educationist of India. So I really feel great that we are interacting with the teachers of the world. I never say for one country because the geographical boundaries are not there when we talk of education and teaching learning. Thank you so much, Shweta ji, for inviting me for such a wonderful topic today, that is the contribution and the importance of research in the teaching learning process of 21st century. And due to so many changes which have taken place recently, in the 21st century, the first one is the pandemic, which has come, and then the teaching methods have changed. That is, the digitization of education has taken place. The hybrid teaching learning method has come. Hybrid teaching learning means that you are doing online and offline. And then the national education policy was introduced in India. It is a coincidence. In 2020, it has come. And with the onset of this new education policy in India, these new pedagogies are introduced, and which are mainly, I will say, the creativity of the students, and that is the research based pedagogy, that is the re exploration, and then finding something new. So that has come, and I'm going to connect it with the Bloom's taxonomy. Who doesn't know the name of Benjamin Bloom, that in 1955 he had given the you know Bloom's taxonomy, and it was appreciated worldwide. And what was there? Not the traditional teaching learning method, that is only the understanding, but then re-exploring Benjamin Bloom, who, so many years back, he has introduced that the understanding is not the only thing which is required in teaching learning process. What is more important? Analysis has to be there. Hands-on activity should be there. Logical thinking should be there. And they should be able to evaluate, and then they should be able to create something new. So this is what I'm telling, that creating something new, it is the research. And as per NEP 2020, it has been introduced, and the traditional teaching learning methods of only mugging up and then answering in the examination is not good. I will not say enough. I will say it is not good. So the children should have this kind of a thing, that they can find something on their own. Now, what we can do for the students, how we can inculcate in them. So that is, of course, through the new teaching learning methods, which we can have in the classrooms. Like, we can just make groups of the students, and we can give them projects in maybe science, in SST, in literature, in other subjects also. So for that, you know, some assignments should also be given. And we have to start it from the induction level. That is, at the pre-primary level, we have to start that they should explore something, inquiry-based learning. So we have to tell the student from the very beginning, give them something like a plant, and then let them find out where are the roots of the plant, where is the stem of the plant, where are the leaves. And we can go in the higher level, and in the higher levels we can ask them to just talk about the saving the wildlife. So when we talk of wildlife, then we talk of animals. That means we talk of zoology, we talk of botany, and then they can go further. So this research-based pedagogy, it starts from the induction level, it goes up to PhD, BSc, MSc, PhD. So we have to introduce from the very beginning. So what I had done with my students, I told them to do the hydroponics and aquaponics. So hydroponics means that where we can have plants in water, and aquaponics means where the fishes and the plants, they thrive together. So now I will show you what I'm doing with my students, because I want to give you a live example of research-based pedagogy. So you have to do hands-on experiments. So we have kept the plant this way. Can you see the plants? Can you see the roots? So that way they can thrive in water. This is just a money plant. and I think it is transparent, so you can see the roots also. So my students, they have done this, and then I will show you one more plant, and you can see the roots. See, can you see the roots? Can you see the roots of this plant? Can you see the plant itself? So this is what my students, they are doing in research-based pedagogy, that they are going to have these plants and water. They can study about the roots, which kind of root it is, what kind of stem, and the leaves. And you can see one more plant, because I want, it is a practical method, the research method. So you can see one more plant. See, you can see the roots, and then you can see the leaves. So it is all in water. So I thought that I should tell my students that they should do this kind of research, any simple research. And then I told my teacher that they can have aquaponics. So as I told you in the beginning, in aquaponics, we have the fish tank. Over the fish tank, we have got these pots where the stones are there, soil is not there. And the plants are put in these stones. And we connect this aquaponics tank with the plant tank, and the water containing the excreta of the fishes, it goes through a pump into the upper tank, and then it comes back. And when it comes back, it is recycled, because all the nutrients which are present in fish excreta containing water, they are absorbed by these nitrogenous matter, is absorbed by the roots. So here, the soil is not required, the pesticides are not required, the fertilizers are not required, and the recycling of the water takes place. So water is also saved. So this type of project our teacher have done with the students. So I have given you this live example, and I will encourage all of you that you should give the research-based themes to the students and make the groups and let them explore from the internet, from the literature, and then make these projects and do the presentations in the classrooms. And that way they will learn that how the research may take place, so that in future these people are going to do more research, and then it is going to be wonderful for the whole world. They might find out some new medicines, some new methods, and all that. So this is what I want to say about research-based pedagogy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's very interesting how you opened the conversation by actually giving a real life example on how research can be done, and not just talking about it, showing us all that. It was very interesting. And as you opened the discussion, I would now like to introduce all my three panelists to the viewers. And I'm sure they are going to gather a lot of takeaways from these esteemed panelists who are working in their respective fields for research. So it is our responsibility. We cannot just say that they are too young to do this. It is our responsibility to open them up to these kinds of avenues. And here I would like to bring in Prerna ma'am here, please. Prerna ma'am, since the new education policy has mandated that research education has to be incorporated, research methodology should be used in school education. What do you think about it? How do you think that it is relevant to today's educational scenario? And one more thing, ma'am, do you feel that research education can contribute, using research methodology, can it contribute meaningfully to interdisciplinary learning and contribute to STEAM learning? So your take on that, please.
Thank you so much, Shweta ma'am, for giving me such a wonderful platform to give my views to the
Ma'am, if you could also just bring your camera down a little bit.
Now it's fine.
Perfect, ma'am. Please carry on.
So thank you so much for giving me such an opportunity. to give my opinion on this. Thank you so much. So, if we talk about National Education Policy 2020, it advocates the research pedagogy in the school education to cultivate well-rounded individuals which are equipped with the knowledge, skills, and mindset that needed to thrive in the 21st century and contribute meaningfully to the society. We know that the NEP 2020 prioritize holistic development, aiming to nurture not just the academic excellence, but also the critical thinking, creativity, problem-solving skill among the students. And if we see the research pedagogy, it also promotes these kind of skills by encouraging active inquiry, analysis, and synthesis of information. As Rashmi Madam told us that if we talk about the Bloom's taxonomy, so Bloom's taxonomy, the higher level is create something. So if we have such kind of information, then children are able to understand, they have to apply, then they have to analyze, and they have to create based on their analysis. That is something research. If we talk about the 21st century skill, we know that depend on the rote memorization. And it is very insufficient. So NEP 2020 recognizes communication and innovation. Research pedagogy enables a student to develop these skills by engaging them in authentic hands-on experiment. We also prepare the student for the higher education and career. We know that to compete effectively in the global arena, the student must possess strong analytical and problem-solving abilities. And these kind of 21st century competencies can be come through the research and pedagogy only. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you very much. Despite the internet issues at your end, which I could see, we could get some good takeaways from you. Thank you so much. So we understand that using research-based pedagogy is extremely important, and that is the reason why it is now a cornerstone of teaching pedagogy and the educational system as a whole. Now, here I would like to tell the audience that Sujata Harimohan ma'am has been a pioneer of sorts, that she has made the students of her school write research papers and publish them also. There is a very effective research cell going on in her school. So I would welcome Sujata ma'am to come here on screen and share with us the entire process of it, because it is very exciting for every viewer to know how school students are writing research papers and how can we make research cells in our schools. So what was your experience doing this entire thing? And before that, what made you do it other than the collaboration with DKIF? So what was what was the thought behind this entire process, and what changes did you see in the students after this process got complete?
Thank you, Shweta ma'am, for such a wonderful question. And also, let me thank the whole Dr. Kalam International Foundation, the whole team, and also the Sri Lankan team for giving me this wonderful opportunity to participate in the panel discussion. So as Shweta ma'am asked, what motivated me to take research as a pedagogical tool? You know, experience is a real guru. When I enrolled myself as a research scholar, I started, before that I had read several research papers and several articles on research. I know it is important. But when I enrolled myself as a research scholar, I understood. I could encounter with a lot of, problems and how to tackle problems. What are the findings? What are the solutions? So what I thought is, in the current educational scenario, we give still, the rote learning is taking place, but the skills and competencies of the children, it is not nurtured. So I thought, why can't I use the same methodology? Even NEP is saying the same thing. Why can't I use this methodology in my school to train students, to create inquisitive minds, to make them innovators? So that was the motive, and like that, with the help of Dr. Kalam Foundation, I initiated the process. And the main challenge was, as you know, training teachers or creating awareness among teachers how important it is. That was the main challenge that I faced. But with the Dr. Kalam Foundation, I could give training to many teachers, and I also invited a few educators from nearby schools where those teachers also got training from Dr. Kalam Foundation. And what I, during the journey, actually, when you use this research as the pedagogy, as we all know, for an ideal curriculum, validity is important. So when you do research, it promote or it will ensure cognitive validity, content validity, and even the process validity, historical, environmental validity, and also the ethical validity. Everything is there when you do the research. So it's an ideal pedagogical tool. So that is the main reason. And see, usually the normal science teaching method, it never encourage competencies among children. So research will encourage a lot of competencies, and it discourage rote learning. I already told you, it improve on the inquiry skills. School must travel, an extra mile to implement this kind of elements and to stimulate, so that they can stimulate their investigative ability. So when my students, when they submit a research paper, it is exactly like the normal research paper where there will be abstract, okay, the research questions, before that introduction will be there, research questions will be there, and the need for the study will be there, hypothesis will be there, a research methodology, their findings, suggestions. It's a paka research paper. And first year, it was really challenging. It took almost 6 to 7 months to train the students and teachers, and I was with them. And last year, we could publish 6 research papers, and most of the research, the questions they could find from the school itself. And dear educators who are present here, what I'm doing is, I'm not taking anything from the textbook. What I'm doing, I'm asking my students to find out the problems, okay, across them, around them, and I'm asking them to do a research and what lead to this problem, what can you do. You can the problem, the suggestions, what kind of methodology you have to use, survey methods, interview methods they are using, and they are coming up with the findings. So last year we could publish 6 research paper, and I'm happy that this year we are ready with 8 research papers. And all these 8 research papers, it is actually the quality. I was really surprised to see the topics that they have taken. They have connected sleep disorder with studies one, and how rapport with the teachers, whether it has improved their academic performance, that kind of study is there, and whether the concentration level of the child, okay, whether it is connected to the memory games, and how is it connected again to studies and academic performance, like that. The right of research, and the relationship between the test anxiety and sleep. Lot of researchers they are doing with the help of my dear teachers. So thank you once again. I think I have given you the answer, Shweta ma'am, what you have asked for. And thank you, dear educators. Thank you, Sudhakar sir and Shweta ma'am, and everyone present here. Thank you once again. And with one line, I will conclude. When you do research, actually you are training students to find solution for a problem. So when students encounter with several problems in their life, I'm sure all those students who are involved in research, they will find out some method to come out of it, and they will find some other method for their survival. Thank you.
Ma'am, you're very right when you say that students will find a way out if we open the area, open the possibilities to them. They will find a way out, and that is exactly the skill that we need to inculcate in them. That is where we are making them problem solvers, where we are making them critical thinkers, where we are making them adept at the 21st century skills, which they carry right through their adult life also. And thank you so much for sharing your amazing experience with your students. And here I would also call in Prerna ma'am to share her experience with Ganga International School students, because they have also come up with amazing presentations and research papers with working with Dr. Kalam International Foundation. You have been a very motivating guiding force for all your students as well as teachers. So I would like you to also share your experience on how research methodology was used and how did the students do, so that our viewers are also encouraged to introduce similar methodologies in their schools and see the change in the students. Thank you, ma'am.
Um, Thank you, Shweta ma'am, for asking me question. I am a science student. I was science student throughout, and as a pedagogical leader of the school, we are long life learners. So we are learning throughout our life, and we supposed to be if we want to become an effective pedagogical leader. So when I associated with DKIF, Sudhakar sir, and with you, and giving our students a wonderful platform to showcase their research work. So when we talk about the research work, it is nothing that we have to provoke the thinking of the student that they can think out of the box. They cannot go with the regular textbook. They have to work beyond the classroom, beyond the textbook. So they are able to solve the day-to-day problem which they observe nearby their neighborhood, and they can come up with the real solution of the local problems. So I started with my primary kids. This time, one of our primary kids have given a wonderful presentation during the virtual seminar. Have you? I hope you have seen that kid. So from the
Absolutely.
primary level to the middle level and the secondary level, the children are doing wonderful research work. And Shweta madam, I would like to say that I have seen the unexpected growth in the children mindset. They are started thinking out of the box of the problem, and their computational thinking will also start in this process. They are able to connect the threads of the problem, and they are finding the solution of those problems, and which is utmost requirement for nowadays. So thank you so much for giving me such a wonderful platform with my students. And they are coming up with the very good learning things. Thank you so much, Shweta ma'am.
So much, Prerna ma'am. It was very satisfying, and I was feeling very happy when you were talking that you have seen real changes in the attitude of students, and that is what we are aiming at, to bring those attitudinal shifts. And
Yeah.
talking of attitudinal shifts, I would request Dr. Hardeep Singh to come in here and comment on this attitudinal shift is very instrumental in in retaining our students in our countries. I'm talking as a representative of all the entire South Asian community, that our students are very lured by the opportunities that are provided in the West, because they feel that their abilities have more exposure, and there are more opportunities in the West. Do you think that if we utilize this kind of teaching methodology, and if we start adopting research based methodology from the very start, do you feel that there would be any change in this particular area, which has a very wide ramification, but for simplicity I can call it brain drain here? So do you think that bringing this massive change in how teachers think and how students think in turn will contribute to limiting this brain drain, and shifting of our talent to the other countries, retaining them so that they can work for the betterment of their own nations, as we are now seeing in India? So what is your take on that, sir? What do you think research methodology, how do you think it contributes to retaining our students here and giving them opportunities? And making them feel that there are opportunities. So what do you think about this scenario and this angle of the current issues?
Yes, ma'am, it is very right that attitude plays a very important role in our life. And second thing, a teacher plays also a very important role in our life. So changing the attitude, making the students' attitude towards the research, it is all in the hands of teacher, educator. We can see that our students rely on their teachers more than us, more than their parents. Sometimes they say हमारी मैम ऐसे कहती है, हमने ऐसे ही करना है, आपने ऐसे नहीं, हमारी मैम ने ऐसे ही कहा है, हम ऐसे ही काम करेंगे. So they rely on their teachers more. So teachers have to change the attitude. Second thing, that these students, I attended one conference in Delhi that was on entrepreneurship. I would like to tell the thinking skills of the student, how they think. They were talking that he was working in a university, and he thought that I have something extra earning also. He started to start a business of these bed sheets. He thought that in the evening time I will stay somewhere and sell that bed sheets. For he said for 15 days I went here and there, by I couldn't get that business. So he said one day I was talking in my family, and my little child, he was saying that he was 6th class student. He said that Papa, why don't you go there where there is a, you can say, vendor who sells that pani puri or golgappa? There a lot of ladies come and their bed sheets will be sold. That idea clicked. He applied that, and surely he was running a good business. So we can say that we have to give the students a chance, that the students are already ready, they are good thinkers, but we have to change their minds. Second thing is brain drain. Why students are going outside of India? Because they are losing interest after doing a good qualification, BTech, MTech, MBA. Even then they are not finding interest in their country or in their area, and going outside, even they are doing a waiter job or labor job. Why? Because they are losing the interest. We have to inculcate the interest in them, and surely by adding this research or using research methodology in the pedagogy, this will create interest. One thing more I would let you know, that sometimes the student who has not cramming power, and who is not sitting seriously and listening to your lecture, and you get irritated that this student is dull student, he can do nothing. But actually he is finding something extra out of this, that nowadays in the age of information technology, everything is available on net, in the books, in Wikipedia, they can read over there. They are looking for something extra from that. When we go to class, teach all that, if what is available, he says that I will read it myself, this lecture is of no use, and he starts irritating the teacher. So the students who irritate, they are more good, they have more abilities for the other work, they can do research and good work. We should you can say make those students busy by giving them such problems, like Sujata Harimon said, that very good thing, that we have to find these problems and give the students and find the solutions. Only that research is worthy research, good research, when we are giving a solution to the society of a problem. And there are a lot of problems in this society. When a student will give a solution to the problem in a society, he will be appreciated. And when appreciation will given in his own country, he will not look towards the other country. His education will be utilized in a good place, and he will be appreciated. And I think this will you can say remove brain drain from our country. But only we and educators, teachers, they have to take this step and change the attitude of the students. So that's all.
Rightly said, sir, and it is very encouraging to all of us educators when we say that, when you say that the so-called disturbance makers are also big potential. And I remind myself of the saying, of the very famous saying that every one of us must have heard, that there are no bad students, there might be just bad teachers. So not to discourage everybody, but thinking that research methodology is not something that a student needs to wait till he grows up and he needs to do something for his professional work. Research methodology is a way of life, is a way of teaching in an interdisciplinary way, just like Rashmi ma'am had shown us how a simple topic can be made very interesting when students are actually doing it, and then the teachers can get together, make it interdisciplinary, and this can go a bit further when the students are asked to write on it, write research papers. We call it research papers, but it starts with project based pedagogy. So I would, it has been a great conversation, and thank you everybody. I would come back here to Dr. Rashmi Tyagi once more. Ma'am, if you're there. Yes. So I would like to come back to you once more and, sum up the entire conversation here, because everybody has spoken about everything regarding research pedagogy. Now, if you could just either through an example or through your wisdom, sum up the conversation with how this research-based pedagogy can contribute towards the entire spectrum of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, cognitive enhancing, as well as problem solving, critical thinking skills. So how is this the cornerstone of everything? So just summing up the conversation together, I would come to you since you are a master at that. So that is why I'm coming up to you here to sum up the entire conversation on research pedagogy and its role in the entire spectrum of this effort towards building 21st century skills.
Thank you very much for the compliment. And I give this compliment to each and everyone who is there for today's this such a good discussion, that all of them are the masters of the research pedagogy already. So first of all, I will say that it has come now, the research-based methods for the teaching learning process in the classrooms right from the beginning. So first of all, I can also say that already in India it is introduced. How it is introduced? That in my school, many science exhibitions were organized where the students were invited to present their scientific topics by Bhabha Atomic Research Center scientists. This is how they encourage this research attitude in the students. And then secondly, I will say that the Indian Science Congress, which is presided and inaugurated by the Prime Minister every year. So now the students of this age group, that is the school going, not the college students, they are invited to present their models in the science exhibition. And the name of that science exhibition is Abdul Kalam Foundation only. And under that banner, last year when I attended this Indian Science Congress, then many students from different parts of India were present there. And from the Kashmir, the students came up with the topic that how they are going to protect the wildlife in Kashmir. And some student, they have made an apparatus that when in a field, the birds are coming and eating, the crop, then what kind of signal we should make. So they have done that. And some students were trying to show that how they can study the life beneath the sea. So beneath the sea, the fishes are present. So the fishes at different levels of the sea, depth of the sea, how they are. So already these things are there. And now next I will go to the steaming of these projects, because the steam is very important. So the project which I have talked about today, we have done the steaming. Like we said, the botany is there. because the plants are there, zoology is there because the fishes are there, and physics is there because we are taking the water from fish tank to the plant tank, and then chemistry is there because we are going to just test the presence of nitrogen and ammonia in the water. And when we see there is no more ammonia in the pot water, then we recycle it back. So that is steel. And then I'll say the literature also comes because the presentation and writing of the paper is very important. Just now, Sujata madam was telling that she asked the students to present and write the research papers. So I will say, and I will just advocate that all of us, the teaching community, should ask the students to take up the small projects and then write the paper, like what is the topic, the hypothesis, and then the method, and then the conclusion. And even I will encourage the teachers, because they are in the labs, the teaching labs, I will say they are doing a wonderful job, especially these days. In the 21st century, they are using new methods every month, every week, to teach the students. So they should write a paper on that new pedagogy which they have selected for a particular topic, and they are making kind of a research paper which is the lesson plan. So lesson plan we can compare to the research paper. So I will encourage the teachers of the world, and right now maybe Southeast Asian teachers are there, Indian, and all of us are there. So I will just talk for the research-based pedagogy. So tomorrow our children, they can do wonders. And once I was in New York, and there I had seen an Indian student on the Discovery Channel. Oh, I mean, I had attended that place where this Indian student was talking about her research paper and her research project, and Discovery Channel, they were taking the video of that. So our TV channels should encourage when the students are participating in these, exhibitions, and they should show it to everyone. And then we should have quiz competitions in our schools about the STEAM, because I cannot tell the teachers and the students to limit them to one subject. So multidisciplinary, as Shwetaji is impressing upon that. So they should do the STEAM kind of research work where literature is added, because you write the paper in English, you write the paper in Sinhali, you might write the paper in Tamil, or maybe in Bengali, maybe in French. So the literature is important, that how to present the paper. So that way the whole steaming will be done. And thank you so much, Shwetaji, for giving this opportunity to all of us, and Mr. Kamal Gura and Sudhakar sir, that they have arranged such a wonderful topic they have taken up, and we are just discussing about it. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Rashmi ma'am. And I hope that the conference in Delhi paves way for such future, variety of programs and presentations and quizzes and different programs encompassing the entire Southeast Asia. I'm sure that this conference facilitates all the educators, all those who come to New Delhi are facilitated, are helped, and they gain a lot so that they can carry on this idea forward in their respective countries. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I think that rounded discussion at the end. And I think our viewers must have got a pretty good idea about what research methodology is, how to incorporate it into their daily teaching. Of course, there is a training required, which can be readily made available to them. But the main thing is being open to the idea of it, because when we are open to the idea, then only we take that initiative, we take those efforts, and we take it to our logical conclusion. So that is what this seminar was aiming at, to bring that awareness and inspiration to all the educated community, to bring that inspiration among the educator community of using research methodology in their classrooms, be it primary, be it pre-primary, be it middle, or of course the senior secondary schools. So that is something that educators have to initiate in their respective domains. So I think this panel discussion has brought this idea pretty well to the viewers. I would wrap this discussion up now because we have already exceeded our time, and invite Ms. Sugandhi to give a vote of thanks to all our panelists.
Dr. Kalam International and International Association for Quality Education. So it's happening. All these panel discussions are happening parallel to the conference to be held in New Delhi in May. So it's actually a great opportunity for our educationalists who is around South Asian countries, where we will be publishing all these videos, the recordings in YouTube. So you could watch, make yourself benefited through all these discussions. Also, we invite the educationalists all around South Asian countries to take part in our conference to make it a success, where you can experience by the second panel discussion itself how much you are learning. Day by day, we are getting educated with more and more. So actually, Sweta ma'am, the discussion which went on was something which is really great. So it's really superb to hear that students, school students are doing researches and having making research papers on their own. So it is something for their life. As the educationalists spoke about it, it is about enhancing their critical thinking, problem solving for their life. So making them educated, it is not only about book or knowledge, it is also for their life. So that is actually great to hear that is happening in school level. So I would invite the teachers of Sri Lanka and other teachers too to get some knowledge through this and try to implement certain systems like this in your school so that our children also will be benefited in some way. Thank you so much, Sweta ma'am, for carrying the panel discussion so well. And Rashmi ma'am, full of knowledge, who is always there with us. Thank you so much. And the panelists, Dr. Kothari, Professor Dr. Hadip, Ms. Sujata, and Ms. Prerna. Thank you so much to everybody for sharing and giving us an opportunity to collaborate we have no barriers now, actually. As ma'am said, like previously also we discussed about it. Actually, what our teachers were telling us, right, even when we think to go to another country and make ourselves updated, it's really difficult at times, and it never happens for some people. But nowadays, we have made all those barriers, we have broken the barriers behalf of our teachers. So what I request is, use all these information for your knowledge and upgrade yourself as a professional teacher for 21st century. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I thank our presidents of the association, Sudhakar sir and Janaka sir, for organizing all these. Thank you to all. So good night.